friends, welcome to or welcome back to the channel Jane Reads. My name is Jeanette, and today we are going to talk about series, the series that I am reading. So for my Christian Fiction Yearly Reading Challenge, the prompt for September is a book in a series. And I made it that because I had hope, and I had really hoped that Krista from Books and Jams and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand would do Series September again. And yes, they are doing it again this year. So it pairs perfectly. And I absolutely love reading series. That is my favorite type of book to read, is a book in a series where you are following characters throughout the series. Maybe not the same character the whole way through, but characters you've met, like in book 1, you follow them in book 2 or book 3, and then you see appearances of the book characters from book 1. That's what I really like. I like spending a lot of time with characters that I've gotten to know and gotten to love. So, how many series do I have in progress currently? Because I love to binge series. Like, that's my favorite way, is to take one series and just follow it the whole way through and spend as much time, because I don't want to sit by the characters. However, I don't always binge. A lot of times I read the books as they come out, or I just fall behind and don't get a chance to read, or something else takes over and cuts into that series reading. Life. Things happen. So I currently have 25 series in progress that I have the books, or I can get access to the books to continue this series. Now, not all of those 25 series are complete. I'm waiting for more books to be released, but there are still books I could read in the meantime in that series. And then I have 7 series where I'm expecting another book to come out next year, most likely. Not all of them are next year. I think one is this year. Where another book in the series has been announced already. So that is a total of 32 series in progress. But only 25 of the 32 can I actually make progress in that series. So I have my list of what series they are what they all are, and how many I have left to read to get caught up or to complete that series. So I'm going to very quickly go through them and just a very brief synopsis about them. Most of them will be, I'll tell you how many books are in the series, what genre the series is, and that might be all I tell you, because that might be all I know or remember at this point in time. I will be doing another video of all the series that I hope to start soon, relatively soon, but maybe I should focus on these series before starting more, but who knows. And a video on all the series I have completed so far this year, because I have completed a few. Okay, so with one book left to read in the series, I have 4 series. So these should be easy for me to complete. Because I only have one book, that's 4 books. I should be able to do that. But the first book, for that, I'm not going to read in September, because it's a Christmas book. So I'm going to wait till November or December. So this one will not be read until later in the year. And that book is The Wish Book Christmas by Lynn Austen. This is part of the duology If I Were You. Yes, If I Were You by Lynn Austen. And book 1, we meet 2 women and are following them and getting to know them through World War II. Or maybe it's after the war, actually. Maybe it's 1950s. No, it's during World War II, because this one starts in 1951. And the kids are their kids, yes. So now they had kids, and this is kind of following their kids, from what I understand, who are still kids. But I don't know a whole lot about it other than it's historical. Then the next book is part of the Wycliff family by Jessica Scarlett. So I have read books 1 and 2. It is a 3-book series, so I only have book 3 to read, and that is A Lady on the Chase. This is a Regency romance set in England, I'm pretty sure. I read books 1 and book 2 in 2022, and I binged them back to back. I don't know why I didn't pick up number 3 at that time, other than I read them on Kindle Unlimited. So maybe my Kindle Unlimited subscription was ending at that point and I didn't get to it. But I do have Kindle Unlimited again now, so I should read it now and complete the series, get it off my list. This one follows 3 siblings. Each book is following a different sibling, and in books 1 and 2, they have made appearances in each of the books. So, and from what I understand, this one is following one of the brothers, Matthew, and who we have gotten to know in book 1 and 2. So yeah, this one should be moved up on my list for priorities. Then we have The Bleeker Street Inquiry Agency by Jen Turano. And the book I have left is To Disguise the Truth. This is book 3, so I've read book 1 and 2. And this one is another historical set in New York City. We're following a group of ladies who live at a boarding house who have created an inquiry agency, so private detectives. And this one is filled with humor. And a lot of characters, like the characters carry over throughout the series, just the main character is a different character, but it's a secondary character from a previous book. Again, I should complete it because I only have the 1 book left and I own it, so this one should be a priority for me. And then there is The Story Girl by LM Montgomery. So I am currently reading book 1, The Story Girl. And so I will complete it at the end of this month, or before the end of this month, which means I will only have because it's a duology, I will only have The Golden Road to read, which is book 2. I don't know if I'm going to continue or not. I'm still reading The Story Girl, so I don't know if I will continue or not. I don't own it. So this one is not a priority again. Okay, so then series where I only have 2 books left to read. There are 13 series, so that is 26 books. So this one, I probably won't complete all these this year, but starting at the top, I'm going alphabetical by author, okay? So we have the Vintage National Parks series by Karen Barnett. I read book 1 this month as part of a book club. I personally really enjoyed kind of the nature setting, following the characters, get to know them. And this one is another historical. It's set in the 1920s around national parks and kind of the beginning of the national park system. So book 1 was The Road to Paradise and set in Mount Rainier National Park, Washington State. And then book 2 is Where Fire Falls, and book 3 is Ever Faithful. Now, I do know that these books do not carry characters over. Well, I don't think they do. They're in different national parks, and since we were following a ranger at Mount Rainier National Park, I highly doubt he's going to be a ranger at one of these other parks. But so I don't think any of the characters carry over in this book or in this series. Okay, another series is also historical, and that is The Blackstone Legacy by Elizabeth Camden. So I read book 1 earlier this year, and I cannot think of the name of book 1. It will be written here, Carved in Stone. And then, so book 2 is Written on the Wind, and book 3 is Hearts of Steel. And so it is New York, 1900 is book 2. So like, and then, oh, that's the prologue, that's why. I'm like, we went back in time? And then 1902. So kind of the big turn of the century, and the Blackstone family is a wealthy family in New York. We met one of the Blackstone people in book 1. I have no idea what these 2 books are about because I haven't read the back. Okay, then we have a romantic suspense, and that is the Annie Pederson series by Colleen Coble. I read book 1 earlier this year, and then book 2 is Dark of Night, and book 3 is Break of Day. In this one, we are following Annie, who we met in book 1, and then kind of following her. She's the main character throughout this series, from my understanding. Again, I haven't read these, so I could be a little bit off on some of them, just from what I've read and heard and understood about the series. So Annie is a park ranger, and these are set in Rock Harbor, Michigan area. So they do tie in a little bit with Colleen's Rock Harbor series. I have not read it. I was a little bit lost in book 1, but I've heard that the series gets better the further you get into it. So we'll find out. Okay, then we have The Women of Tennessee by Shanna Hatfield. I read book 1. There are 3 books in the series, so I have 2 left to read. It is a contemporary romance series. In book 1, we were following a married couple who was struggling, and we were following them, try to figure that out, and can they revive their marriage. I have no idea what books 2 and 3 are about. Okay. Then we have the Canadian Crossings series by Susan Ann Mason. This is a historical, I'm not sure on the time period other than it's historical. In book 1, some characters are taking a boat from England to Toronto, Canada, and then we follow one of those characters and kind of what brought her to Toronto and what's going on. Books 2 and 3 are The Highest of Hopes and The Brightest of Dreams, and my understanding is they follow 2 other characters that we had met on that ship. I don't know much about it other than it's historical, set in Canada. Okay, then we have the Emily series by LM Montgomery. Book 1 is Emily of New Moon. I read that earlier this year for a book club. There are 2 more books in that series. I don't know if I'm going to continue or not, but I haven't made a decision, so it's still on this list. Then we have the Waves of Freedom series by Sarah Sundin. I read book 1 in July. I cannot wait to continue this series. This is another priority series for me because Sarah Sundin is an author I'm trying to read to 0 this year, and I only have 3 books left, and 2 of them are part of this series. The other one is a standalone. Okay, so book 1 was Through Waters Deep, and book 2 is Anchor in the Storm, and book 3 is When Tides Turn. So book 1 was set in Boston around the Navy. The female character was a secretary at the Navy Yard, and the male character was a sailor. I do know that in book 2, we are following the sailor's sister, and I think it was the sailor's best friend, I think is the guy character. Yes, I'm pretty sure. And so I think it's also set in Boston, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But this is a series that I will definitely be reading, hopefully in September, if not October, because it's a priority series for me. It is historical, set around World War II. Then we have the Edwardian Brides by Carrie Turansky. I read book 1, I think it was in June. I did not fall in love with book 1, so I'm not sure if I'm going to continue the series or not. I don't own them, so I haven't made a decision yet. This is another historical series, and I know that books 2 and book 3 follow characters we met in book 1. So I don't really know a whole lot about it, and I haven't made a decision on this series. I didn't even write down the names of book 2 and 3. Okay, then we have the Emmy Lake Chronicles series, which is another historical set around World War II. This is a 4-book series currently. I don't know if there will be any more. Book 4 just came out in August. And I have read book 1 and book 2. So book 1 is Dear Mrs. Bird. Book 2 is Yours Cheerfully. And book 3 is Mrs. Porter Calling. And then book 4 is Dear Miss Lake. And that's the one that was just released. But I own book 3, so I should at least get book 3 read. I've really enjoyed following Emmy throughout the series and kind of the happenings of World War II and watching Emmy grow and kind of the friendship that had been developed and romance. Okay, then we have The Holiday Brides by Shanna Hatfield. This is a 5-book series. I've read up to book 3. This one is a contemporary romance set around or kind of a retirement home, kind of plays a pivotal role in some of the romances. There's some people at the retirement home that are trying to play matchmakers for their nieces or nephews or grandchildren. I've laughed a lot throughout this series. And book 4 is Lilac Bride and book 5 is Lake Bride. Then we have Love on the Beach by Shanna Hatfield. This is currently a 3-book series, but she just released book 3 relatively recently. I can't remember exactly when. So I don't know if it will only be 3 books or maybe she'll do another one later on. It is more of a cozy mystery series, I would say. And it is also contemporary. Okay, then she has the Rodeo Romance series, also by Shanna Hatfield. This is currently a 13-book series. I have read up to book 11. But again, I want to get caught up, so I have 2 more left. That's Tricking Christmas and Mending Christmas. So as you can guess by the titles, I want to wait till closer to Christmas to read these 2, but I'd really like to get them checked off my list this year. She has been releasing 1 book for this series every kind of November or December leading into Christmas. So I don't know if there is one planned for December yet or not. We'll find out. This one does follow characters you meet earlier on the series, like secondary characters, and then the next book follows them as the primary character. And they're not completely Christmas focused. A lot of them are like year round, but there's always one scene in every single book, so far anyways, where the characters go to the rodeo convention in Las Vegas in December. And then that's kind of, they reconnect with some of the other people from the books because it's not set in the same community. That is where they get together, is at the rodeo convention where a lot of the characters get together, and then they go back home and we follow them in their homes. Just a fun romance series that I've really enjoyed. And then we have the Psalm 23 Mysteries by Debbie Viguie. This is currently a 21-book series. I have read up to book 19. There is plans for it to be a 23-book series. Each book is a line from Psalm 23. So like the first one is The Lord is my shepherd. The books I have to read are All the Days of My Life, which is book 20, and I Will Dwell, which is book 21. And this is a mystery series that is following a church secretary and a rabbi. So Cindy, in book 1, Cindy arrives at work to open the church for the day, and not on a Sunday, arrives at work and finds a dead body in the sanctuary. She yells, and Jeremiah from the synagogue next door hears her and runs over to see what's going on. And then they start dealing with the police and trying to investigate. And then as the series moves on, they come across more dead bodies or get wrapped up in different mysteries. And there's a lot going on in this book, or in this series. Each book does end on a cliffhanger, and at first, when I first discovered the series, a lot of the books were released. I want to say the first 7 books were released. I think maybe it was only 5. I don't know. There was quite a few released anyways at the time. And I binged them because I just wanted to keep going. And then I discovered that it was like, oh, because I didn't know at the time it was planned to be a 23 book series. And so then I pre-ordered the rest of the series, and now I've been waiting for the pre-order to come in. And there was kind of a stall at one point because the author had a lot of life stuff happening, and kind of her writing got put on the back burner for a little bit. But now she's back to writing, and we got books 20 and 21 just within like a few months of each other. And 21 just came out in July. And so she has hopes to finish 22 and 23 within the next year, from my understanding, like not too much longer now. And I'm kind of at the point now, because it's been a while since I read book 19. I think I read it in 2023, I think. And because each book ends on a cliffhanger, and there is a storyline that is progressing throughout, because you're following Cindy and Jeremiah, but you're also following like all their friends and kind of like their backgrounds and their family life and stuff. And I really just want to go back to the beginning and read it completely through. But now, because we're so close to the end, I kind of want to wait till they're all released so that I can do one read, because obviously that's a long commitment to do them back to back like that. So yes, we will see. But I also want to know what's going on, because like where the last book that I read left off, it was like, what? So yeah. Okay, moving on to the series where I have 3 books left. And there are only 5 of them, thankfully. But that's 15 books. Okay. So we have another romantic suspense series, and that is the Natchez Park Rangers, Trace Park Rangers series by Patricia Bradley. I read book 1, Standoff, this year, May, June, I don't remember exactly. And so I have 3 books. So book 2 is Obsession, book 3 is Crosshairs, and book 4 is Deception. All I know is what I've read from book 1. I have not read the backs of these guys. I did not put them in the right order. I have not read the backs of these, so I don't know if characters follow over or if it's just the setting that ties these books together. I can't really tell you anything about it other than in book 1, it kept me on the edge of my seat, wondering what was going on. There was so much, and I was invested. Very, very suspense-filled, and characters that I was rooting for. Then we have another Shanna Hatfield series, and that is Hudson Holiday House. This is another Christmas-themed series. And I've only read book 1, but it is a 4-book series. And book 2 is Christmas Spark, book 3 is Christmas Love, and book 4 is Christmas Hope. Hence, I'm waiting to read them later in the year when they're Christmas. So book 1 was a historical romance, but my understanding of this series is each book follows a different generation around the Hudson house. So book 1 was historical, the characters we met. Then in book 2, we're following some relative of the next generation of that characters in the main book, in book 1, and then so on. So like kind of throughout the generations. So I think eventually it will become contemporary. I have the Bradford Sisters by Becky Wade. So this is, I'm considering it a 4-book series because it is 3 full-length books with a prequel novella. I read the prequel. This is a reread series for me, but it's on my rereads bingo board this year, so I want to get it read this year. It's one of the ones, well, this, not the series. Book 2 is on one of the 25 books I want to reread this year. So to get to book 2, I wanted to reread the series. We're following 3 sisters in this series, and in the prequel, we followed the parents' story from the dad's perspective. And now we've got the middle sister is True to You. The oldest sister is Falling for You. And the youngest sister is Sweet on You. I am currently reading, as you can see my bookmarks in, the True to You, so that I can get to Falling for You to get it off my bingo board. Yeah, I really enjoyed this series when I first read it. This is a series I read as it was being released back in the day. It came out in 2017. The book one came out in 2017, so I want to refresh myself with these characters. Okay, then we have a historical mystery, and that is The Drew Farthering Mysteries by Julianna Deering. This is a 6-book series. I've read books 1, 2, and 3. I need to read 4, 5, and 6. So book 4 is Dress for Death. Book 5 is Murder on the Moor. And book 6 is Death at Thorburn Hall. Thorburn. I do not own book 3. However, I own the first 3 books. So I'm kind of missing the middle of the series for the book. In this one, it's a mystery. Kind of think like Agatha Christie, where Drew gets roped into these different mysteries along with 2 of his friends, and they are not police detectives or private investigators or anything like that. They just get involved in these various mysteries. It is set in the 1930s in England. Okay, and then a series that I will definitely complete this year. I have 3 books left in it, as per this category, and that is the Anne of Green Gables series. So I am doing the Year of Maud with Chantal, and we've read the first 5 books. We only have 3 more left, and those not the right order, those 3 are the Anne of Ingleside, Rainbow Valley, and Rilla of Ingleside. So this, I'm pretty sure this is September, October, November. I'm pretty sure, because December is no, that's correct. So I will definitely complete this series as long as I read 1 book a month. So the series that I have with more than 3 books left to read. I only have 3 of these series, thankfully. And the first one is Snow Valley by Cindy Rowland Anderson. This is a 5-book series. I've read book 1. I've actually read quite a few years ago, I think up to book 3. But I reread book 1 earlier I think December of last year, because it was based around Christmas. Now, these books are all in this community of Snow Valley. I don't remember what state it's in off the top of my head. They do not follow the same characters. I don't remember if the characters even make appearances in the previous books, but this has just been a fun contemporary romance series, very lighthearted, more of really a rom-com. And so I want to continue the series. And the covers are gorgeous. I will put a thing of the covers here because this is the reason I picked up one of the books in the series, is because of the cover. And I know it wasn't even the first book when I originally picked up this series. It was the shoes. Okay, then 2 more series that I know very little about. Again, I've only read book 1 of the series. They're both by Christy Barrett. So the first one is Saltwater Cowboys. This is 7 books currently. I did not check to see if she's added any to these 2 series. And then the other one is Fog Lake Suspense. Again, I've read book 1 and it's a 6-book series. They are both suspense mystery series, and Christy usually has characters that continue throughout. You meet one and you're following a different character, but you've met them in the earlier. And that's what I love about Christy's series. But I don't know a whole lot about either one of those series. other than that. Okay, so the 7 series that I am up to date on, but I'm waiting for the next book to be released. So the first one is Gossamer Falls by Lynn H. Blackburn. This one is being set in North Carolina. We have met 2 characters who I assume the next book will be about, and that book is Last to Fall, and I think it's coming out in March of next year. It's coming out in spring of 2026 for sure. I just don't remember exactly which month. And yeah, I have loved these characters, and I am looking forward to finding out these 2, like their story. Then the next one is Hope Harbor by Irene Hannon. Oh, I should have written down how many books. So I think Hope Harbor, give me a minute. Okay, so it is a 12-book series with 12 books have already been released. Book 13 is coming out next April. It is a contemporary romance series. This could be read as a standalone. However, it's all set in the community of Hope Harbor. So you see prominent community members kind of play roles throughout all the books, but the main characters change throughout. There are a couple books in this series that I have absolutely loved. And the most recent release, Sunrise Reef, I binged that because I did not want to put it down. I just loved that story. And yeah, I can't wait till the next book comes out. Okay, then Irene Hannon also has her Undaunted Courage series, which is a 3-book series with book 3 coming out in October called Out of Time. I just received an advanced reader copy of this book, so I will be reading this in September for sure. It is romantic suspense. We follow characters who we have met earlier in the series. I don't really know anything about this book, and at this point in time, my memory is going, who have been the characters in this series? Wow, that's horrible. I know we had a firefighter. Did we have a firefighter? It's not there. Book 1 was a firefighter because it was Into the Fire. Yeah, I don't remember. I just know it's romantic suspense. It's Irene Hannon. I want to read this series, or I want to finish this series. Okay, then we have Elements of Danger by Dana Mentek. Book 1 was just released, Fire Mountain, July 1st. So book 2 has been announced to come out summer of 2026. I don't remember the title of it, but that's the next one. Then we have Checking Out Love by Sarah Monzon. This is a contemporary romance following some librarians. Book 1 came out earlier this year. Book 2, Hearts in Circulation, I think is what it's called. Here's the cover. It's coming out in November. And I'm looking forward to reading it because it's one of the secondary characters we met in book 1. Then we have Jeopardy Falls by Danny Petrie. Book 3 has not been announced, but I hope there is a book 3 because there are a couple characters we have met throughout the series that we need their story. And book 2 ended on a cliffhanger, so there better be a book 3. And then the last one is Once Upon a Time in Texas by Karen Whittemire. Book 1 was To Love a Beast, and on the cover it says the series name with number 1, which means there's going to be a number 2, kind of indicates there's going to be a number 2 at some point, right? But nothing's been announced. Book 1 was a fairy tale retelling. I assume based on the series name Once Upon a Time, they're all going to be fairy tale retellings, but that's about all I know. But Karen Whittemire is one of my favorite authors, so that's on my list. Okay, so those are all the series that I am currently reading. The one that I am the most anxious to complete, that I can complete, is this one. Waves of Freedom by Sarah Sundin. Because, do I need to say much? Sarah Sundin, favorite author. I want to read her to zero. This will get me there. So this is the series that I am definitely prioritizing in September. I would love to know, what series are you going, like what's kind of at the top of your list on a series that you cannot wait to get to the next book? I would love to chat in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.